Think you know China's entertainment queens? Think again. Some of the most jaw-dropping beauties are hiding a side of themselves the world is only beginning to see. Stay with us, because these stories of fearless love and fierce talent are only on LGBTQ+ vibes. Hit that subscribe button, show your pride, and let's celebrate authenticity together. You do not want to miss what is coming next. Bai Ling. Long before the world began whispering about rebellion and freedom, Bai Ling was already living it out loud, under the brightest lights and the harshest judgments. Born in Chengdu, China, in 1966, Bai grew up in the turbulent aftermath of the Cultural Revolution, a time when dreams were rationed as tightly as food. Yet somehow, she found her way to the stage, joining the People's Liberation Army's performance troupe as a teenager. It was there, among rigid discipline and hidden longings, that Bai first discovered the magic of transformation. Acting was not just a craft for her, it was escape, liberation, reinvention. After emigrating to the United States, she made her mark with searing performances in films like The Crow, Red Corner, and Anna and the King. Bai was never content to play it safe. She carved out a career that few Chinese actresses before her had dared even dream of. Bold, unpredictable, magnetic. Off-screen, Bai lived with the same raw intensity that defined her roles. Where others sought approval, she seemed to chase experience. Sometimes messy, sometimes misunderstood, but always unapologetically real. The rumors about her personal life were constant. Stories of romances that did not fit the conventional mold, whispers that Bai loved without borders. She never flinched. Bai let the world talk while she kept moving, dancing at the edges of fame with a kind of fearless joy. Her public persona, wild, untamed, fiercely sensual, became both her armor and her rebellion. For many in the LGBTQ+ community, Bai was more than a curious headline. She was a vivid reminder that life is meant to be lived wide open, not boxed in by other people's fears. In a world that often tries to neaten the messy brilliance of human lives into tidy labels, Bai Ling remains gloriously undefinable. She is a testament to the fact that true artistry and true freedom come from daring to exist outside the lines. Her name may not be sewn neatly into the mainstream fabric of Hollywood, but her spirit lingers like a spark you cannot unsee. And now, as we move from the fierce, boundary-breaking energy of Bai Ling, a new voice rises. Fearless in her own way, blending beats, beauty, and boldness into a sound uniquely hers. Sunnee Yang. Sunnee Yang, where quiet defiance gave birth to a movement, loud, radiant energy was ready to take it to new heights. And that energy was Sunnee Yang. Born in 1996 to Chinese parents in Thailand, Sunnee grew up straddling two cultures, two worlds, and countless expectations. But when it came to her dreams, there was never any hesitation. Armed with a voice that could electrify a crowd and a presence too magnetic to ignore, Sunnee burst onto the music scene, rewriting every rule about what a pop idol could be. She did not blend in. She blazed her own trail. Her journey through fierce competitions and high-profile stages was not just about chasing fame. It was about daring to be seen exactly as she was. Sunnee's decision to live authentically as an openly lesbian artist in Asia's hyper-scrutinized entertainment world was nothing short of groundbreaking. In an industry obsessed with perfection and illusions, she offered something far more powerful: truth. She wore her heart on her sleeve, sang from places others were too afraid to touch, and transformed vulnerability into her greatest strength. For countless young fans across Asia, Sunnee was not just a star. She was proof that being different did not mean being alone. Her boldness did not just entertain. It healed, inspired, and opened doors that had long been bolted shut. Sunnee Yang stands as a living anthem to freedom, fierce, unfiltered, and unforgettable. Her journey reminds us that authenticity is not a trend or a slogan. It is a choice made every single day, even when the world offers easier paths to follow. And while stages may fade and spotlights shift, the legacy she is building, one song, one story, one unbreakable smile at a time, will echo far beyond any arena. Now, from the fire of Sunnee, another name rises. A voice bold enough to shatter silence and powerful enough to unite a generation. Tingting. In the restless heartbeat of Beijing, where towering skyscrapers shadow ancient temples, a spark of rebellion quietly flickered, and that spark was named Tingting. Born in 1989, in a society that taught conformity over courage, Li refused to shrink herself to fit anyone's expectations. As a teenager, while others stayed silent, she dared to ask the loudest questions. Why must love hide? Why must freedom have conditions? It was not ambition that fueled her. It was a relentless hunger for truth. In every protest she organized, every voice she amplified, every injustice she challenged, Li carried the weight of millions who had been told to stay invisible. And when authorities tried to silence her, detaining her as part of the fearless feminist five, she answered not with fear, but with fiercer hope. Li's identity as an openly lesbian woman was not just a personal truth. It became a public act of defiance. In a country where being LGBTQ+ often meant living in the shadows, Li stood proudly in the light, even when it made her a target. She built safe spaces where none existed, founded organizations that whispered, then shouted, "You are not alone." Her activism was never about rage, it was about love. Love for her community, love for her country's potential, and most of all, love for the belief that one voice, steady and brave, could ripple outward and spark a revolution. Through her courage, Li showed that real beauty is not measured by perfection, but by persistence. The stubborn refusal to surrender when the world demands your silence. Today, Tingting remains a living reminder that bravery and beauty are not separate. They are intertwined, inseparable, and unstoppable. Her name may not echo on every street corner, but her legacy whispers in every heart that dares to live authentically. And as we move from the quiet strength of Tingting to the fiery spirit of a new generation, there is one dazzling young star who took her fight for authenticity straight to the stage, capturing hearts with her voice, her smile, and her unapologetic pride. Let us step into the world of the electrifying Lexie Liu. Lexie Liu. In a music landscape saturated with predictability, Lexie Liu arrived like a comet, burning, uncontainable, and rewriting every rule she touched. Born in 1998 in Changsha, China, Lexie was never content with simply fitting in. With a mind sharpened by both classical Chinese culture and the bold experimentalism of Western art scenes, she carved out a space entirely her own. Singing in Mandarin, English, and sometimes weaving the two together like silk threads, she blurred borders between genres, between languages, and between identities. Her breakout on the Rap of China and her later international collaborations signaled something much bigger than a rising star. Lexie was a movement, cool, magnetic, and unafraid to be misunderstood. While she has never publicly labeled her sexuality, Lexie Liu has stirred persistent speculation about her orientation, largely because of the openness and fluidity she exudes both in her music and her persona. Through lyrics that hint at genderless love, visuals that defy traditional norms, and interviews where she voices strong support for LGBTQ+ rights, Lexie has become an unofficial icon for young queer audiences in China and beyond. Rather than making grand statements, she lets her art speak, and it speaks volumes. She represents a generation that refuses to put itself in a box, choosing instead to live in the in-between, the infinite possibilities that come from simply being honest. Lexie Liu's power lies not in shouting her truth, but in embodying it with effortless grace. She does not demand attention, she attracts it, effortlessly drawing in those who see themselves reflected in her boldness and vulnerability. In a culture still negotiating what it means to be free, Lexie offers a glimpse of a future where labels matter less than the courage it takes to be real. Her presence is not just about music, it is about transformation, of style, of identity, of what it means to belong. And as we move from the genre-bending brilliance of Lexie Liu, another young force steps into view. Someone whose rise to fame brought not only music, but a surge of unapologetic individuality, Meng Meiqi. Meng Meiqi, in the glittering arena of pop stardom, where polished images often outshine authenticity, Meng Meiqi built her kingdom differently, with raw talent, stubborn grit, and a presence that demanded the world to look twice. Born in 1998 in Luoyang, China, Meng first captured attention as a powerhouse performer in South Korea's girl group Cosmic Girls, before returning home to take China's entertainment scene by storm. Winning first place on Produce 101 China and debuting as the center of Rocket Girls 101, she did not just ride the wave. She became the wave. With a voice that could shift effortlessly from soft vulnerability to powerhouse anthems, and a charisma that lit up every stage she touched, Meng carved out her own lane in an industry hungry for the next big thing. But it was not just her music or performances that sparked conversation. It was the unguarded way she carried herself. Though Meng Meiqi has never publicly labeled her sexuality, fans and observers have long speculated about her fluid, deeply personal expressions of love and identity. Her close emotional bonds with women, her defiance of rigid beauty standards, and her refusal to fit neatly into traditional idol molds have all fueled ongoing rumors. More importantly, Meng has shown unwavering support for inclusivity and individuality, embracing LGBTQ+ fans with a sincerity that feels rare in a world often ruled by caution. Whether intended or not, she has become a figure of quiet empowerment for many who see in her a reflection of their own complex, evolving selves. Meng Meiqi's greatest triumph might not be the awards or the sold-out concerts. It is the way she continues to expand what is possible for young women in the spotlight. She stands as a reminder that you can be powerful and soft, fearless and tender, without apology. In a culture that still often demands certainty, Meng represents something much more exciting: the right to exist beautifully in the in-between. And as we leave the commanding brilliance of Meng Meiqi behind, another rising voice takes the stage. A young artist whose quiet strength and haunting vocals have captivated a new generation, Curly Gao. Curly Gao. Some stars dazzle with bright explosions, others captivate with a quiet light that refuses to fade. Curly Gao, born in Beijing in 1998, belongs firmly to the second kind. With a voice that seems to weave between soul, pop, and R&B as effortlessly as a silk ribbon through the air, she captured hearts the moment she stepped into the spotlight. A graduate of Berklee College of Music, Curly brought an unusual depth to China's pop scene, a fusion of global influences, crisp artistry, and emotional honesty. Winning Sing. China catapulted her into national fame, but Curly never chased spectacle. Instead, she carved a path based on something far rarer: authenticity that speaks without shouting. Although Curly has not officially discussed her sexuality, fans and media alike have noted the subtle ways she blurs traditional lines of gender and love in her music and image. Through her style, often embracing soft masculinity and understated elegance, and her open support for LGBTQ+ themes in her art, she has become an unofficial favorite among young queer audiences. Her lyrics hint at stories of love without rigid definitions. Her performances glow with the quiet power of someone who refuses to be boxed in. Without making declarations, Curly Gao has built a connection, one that says without words, "Whoever you are, you belong here." Curly's strength lies in her ability to hold contradictions. Soft yet strong, delicate yet fearless, familiar yet utterly new. She stands as a living testament to the idea that the loudest revolutions sometimes begin not with fire, but with a whisper that refuses to be ignored. In an industry often obsessed with trends, she reminds us that staying true to yourself, quietly, steadily, is the most radical act of all. And now, from the gentle yet unshakable spirit of Curly Gao, we step into the dazzling legacy of a timeless icon who redefined what it meant to break barriers. Faye Wong. Faye Wong. Some legends are not built with noise or rebellion. They are shaped by mystery, by grace, by a quiet refusal to conform. Faye Wong, born in 1969 in Beijing, China, has always been an enigma the world could not quite pin down. With a voice that could turn heartbreak into poetry and a presence that felt otherworldly, she rose to fame first in Hong Kong, then across Asia, with a kind of effortless magnetism that no marketing machine could replicate. Albums like Sky and Restless turned her into a cultural icon, while her haunting rendition of Eyes on Me for the video game Final Fantasy VIII gave her an unexpected global audience. But even as the spotlight grew hotter, Faye moved through it with an ethereal distance, as if she belonged to a place just beyond reach. Speculation about Faye's personal life has always been part of her mythos. Whispers about her romantic life, including deep, enduring connections with women, fueled years of rumors about her possible place within the LGBTQ+ community. Yet Faye never played into the media's hunger for labels. She neither confirmed nor denied. She simply lived, allowing her music and her presence to suggest a freedom that words could not fully capture. What mattered more than any headline was the way she inspired countless fans, especially those from marginalized communities, to believe that it was possible to exist on their own terms. Through her aloofness, Faye offered a radical lesson. You do not owe the world your explanations to be valid, to be powerful, to be real. Faye Wong's legacy is not just etched in platinum albums and sold-out concerts. It lives in the spirit of anyone who has ever dared to live without apology. She remains a symbol of a rare, untouchable authenticity. A woman who defined stardom not by surrendering herself, but by holding her truth sacred. In every whispered lyric, in every moment of fearless silence, she left a roadmap for those who come after. You can be more than what the world demands. And with that spirit in mind, another fearless voice rises. One whose vibrant energy and bold individuality are impossible to ignore. Zhao Xiaotang. Zhao Xiaotang. Where many stars are shaped by careful training and polished images, Zhao Xiaotang burst onto the scene like a force of nature, unfiltered, unstoppable, and unapologetically herself. Born in 1997 in Beijing, Zhao first captured attention on the survival show Youth with You 2, where her fearless honesty and magnetic charisma made her impossible to ignore. In a world of carefully curated perfection, she was refreshingly real. A firecracker who refused to dim her spark to fit anyone's mold. Winning a place in the girl group The Nine was only the beginning. Zhao quickly became known not just for her striking looks and commanding performances, but for the undeniable sense that she was not here to please. She was here to be. Though Zhao Xiaotang has never made a formal statement about her sexuality, she has become a strong figure of queer resonance in China's youth culture. Her candid affection toward female friends and her open-mindedness have fueled widespread speculation and admiration. More importantly, she has consistently projected a message of authenticity and acceptance, embracing LGBTQ+ fans without hesitation. Zhao's presence sends a powerful signal in a society where nonconformity can still carry heavy risks. It is not only acceptable to be different, it is something to be proud of. Without speeches or grand gestures, she has carved out a space where individuality thrives, making her a quiet but undeniable ally to countless young people finding their way. Zhao Xiaotang's brilliance lies in her refusal to compromise on her dreams, her identity, or her wild, joyful spirit. She stands as a reminder that real beauty has nothing to do with fitting expectations and everything to do with honoring who you are. In every sharp laugh, in every fearless step on stage, she shows that freedom is not just a right, it is a way of living. And from the fearless authenticity of Zhao Xiaotang, we turn to another powerful force. A woman whose quiet strength and magnetic talent have made her a shining star in her own right. Zhou Dongyu. Zhou Dongyu. There's a rare breed of star whose power comes not from commanding the stage with noise, but from owning the silence in the middle. And Zhou Dongyu is exactly that. Born in 1992 in Shijiazhuang, Hebei, Guangzhou, she's not the typical face entertainment scouts are looking for. Petite, with a fragile appearance that belies fierce determination, she's carved out a space in Chinese cinema, not by conformity, but by seduction. Her breakout role in Zhang Yimou's Under the Hawthorn Tree brought out the raw, unpolished honesty that has become her signature. Subsequent performances, notably in Soulmate and Better Days, have earned her critical acclaim and are a rare feat for a Chinese actress. International respect built on pure, undeniable talent. Beneath her thin, almost fragile exterior, Zhou Dongyu is the embodiment of quiet defiance. Though she has never spoken publicly about her sexuality, fans and the media have long speculated about how she fluidly expresses love, both on screen and off. Her deep emotional connections with her female co-stars and her reluctance to fit the traditional celebrity girlfriend mold have only deepened that curiosity. Yet Zhou has chosen to let her art speak louder than any tabloid headline. Through roles that explore identity, vulnerability, and resilience, she has become an unintentional yet powerful symbol for many young LGBTQ+ individuals in China, searching for a face in which they can see themselves. She doesn't make grand statements, but her choices, brave, delicate, fierce, resonate like quiet thunder. Zhou Dongyu's legacy is still unfolding, but one truth is clear. She has reshaped what it means to be a leading lady in China. Fragile yet fearless, humble yet unforgettable, she reminds us that the deepest revolutions are often wrapped in the softest whispers. In every character she brings to life, she challenges the world to look closer, love deeper, and rethink what true strength looks like. And from the subtle power of Zhou Dongyu, we now turn to another name that defies expectations and dances boldly on the edge of convention: Tan Zhuo. Tan Zhuo. In an industry that often demands predictability, Tan Zhuo has always been a beautiful contradiction. Unpredictable, yet grounded, soft, yet unbreakably strong. Born in 1983 in Changchun, Jilin, Tan found her way into acting not through flashy contests or quick fame, but through a slow, deliberate mastery of her craft. Her performances in films like Dying to Survive and The Summer Is Gone do not scream for attention. They draw you in, quietly, steadily, until you realize you are watching something rare. An actress who does not just play her characters, but inhabits them fully. With her sharp intelligence and emotional authenticity, Tan built a career on her own terms, unafraid to tread paths few dared. While Tan Zhuo has kept her private life shielded from the public eye, there have been persistent rumors and speculations about her orientation, fueled by her portrayal of complex, boundary-pushing characters and her open-minded, non-conforming presence off-screen. Her support for diverse voices and her effortless comfort in roles that explore deep human connections, regardless of gender, have made her a quiet favorite within China's LGBTQ+ circles. Though she has never publicly addressed the rumors, her art and her spirit suggest a soul that resists labels, embracing humanity in all its beautiful messiness. It is not the answers she offers that matter most. It is the freedom she embodies simply by existing on her own terms. Tan Zhuo's legacy is one of quiet revolution, not born of controversy but of consistency. Not of shouting, but of living deeply and truthfully. In every role, in every unguarded smile, she reminds us that authenticity does not always need a microphone to be heard. Sometimes, it is the ones who move through the world with quiet confidence who leave the most lasting marks. Tan Zhuo stands among those rare artists who inspire not by leading loud battles, but by living examples of quiet defiance and limitless possibility, a testament to the idea that true freedom is being yourself, without permission or apology. Maybe the greatest power we have is the courage to live as we truly are. No edits, no apologies. These incredible women are not just rewriting the rules, they are showing the world that authenticity is the real revolution. If their journeys touched your heart, stay with us. Subscribe to LGBTQ+ Vibes and let us keep building a world where every story matters.